Americans as portrayed by the Japanese, but it's not exactly what you expect.
Why don't you two buy a hot dog from me, Mr. Kohei? Come on, baby. Don't be cruel, you cowboy.
Alright, yeah, this was a very different interpretation than we've seen before. Maybe the Japanese don't necessarily idolize us all the time. They're not wrong, though. Every language got the European country that claims to speak the correct version of the language, larger country that speaks an older dialect, temperamental island people, and finally, unintelligible mountain people. Who could have guessed English and Spanish have actually a lot more similarities than you'd expect, but yeah, I think we all can agree, whatever Chile speaks and whatever Scotland speaks, it's definitely not English and Spanish. I don't know what it is, but we'll just let them figure it out for themselves. You got biggest Muslim population, Bali, a Hindu island named the best island in the world. There's also the tallest Jesus monument ever created. Also the world's largest Jewish menorah, the world's biggest Buddhist temple, and finally the biggest Confucius temple in all of Southeast Asia. These all can be found in one country that's Indonesia. They really are the most religious country in the world. They've collected them all. And honestly, they're probably just gonna keep on going. Like, why stop at this point? Haha, Czechia was in Germany. Meanwhile, the Germany just had pathetic 2-kilometer counties, always dependent on Czechia army for help. On top of all that, they were only able to recruit only 30,000 men in all the counties. Then there's the Czechia in question, which is actually the Kingdom of Bohemia, only united entity in the Holy Roman Empire, has its own resources, richest and strongest member. Oh, and don't forget, they were able to recruit at least 30,000 men. So in reality, the Czech lands were actually glorious lands that all the Germans wanted to rule. That was quite the history lesson. Ah, they weren't the Holy Roman Empire, they were the Holy Beer Empire, okay. French, when they hear how Russia wants to nuke the UK. If anyone's gonna take that B down, it's gonna be me. I have little doubt that France will single-handedly destroy all of Russia just so they can be the ones to take down the UK. France will never allow literally any other country to do it first. Ooh, a video by TLDR News, I love this channel, why the far left and far right are surging in Austria. Meanwhile, Austria is saying, oh boy, here we go again. Austria had one civil war, yes, but what about second civil war? Maybe don't do that. That first one took place back in 1934. Let's not do two within the last 100 years though, I feel. Marylanders laughing at California for having to experience a hurricane, then immediately remembering they have the worst weather on the entire planet. It is true that we in California got to experience kind of a hurricane. I think it downgraded out of that category just before it hit LA. This was like literally all of the states watching as that massive storm slowly was approaching us. We weren't really used to those. Thank you, Spain, for breaking the hearts of our colonizers. Meanwhile, this reply, notable non-colonizer Spain. Yes. They are referring to the women's FIFA World Cup win by Spain. Finals really were just like who was the most epic colonizers. I'm from Hungary. Meanwhile, are you hungry? XDDDD. Oh no. Well, the thing is, Hungary has a lot of practice. They literally have to respond to these comments on the daily, so they also kind of have like a Hungarian word pasta willing to serve you up. Singapore, out from Malaysia, now becomes second richest country in the world. Meanwhile, Timor, out from Indonesia, now becomes the world's poorest country in Asia. Same vibe, both countries kind of just getting kicked out, but with very, very different results. Sometimes this strategy, it doesn't always work. Honestly though, I think a lot of this just comes down to geography overall. Aw, look at this beautiful family. We got the parents, Greece and Turkey, and then all their kids like Cyprus, Bosnia, Kosovo, and Albania. Oh, and the other Cyprus, the two Cypruses. This reminded me of the rejected flag proposal for an independent Cyprus. Okay. I'm just gonna start sending this flag when people send me a text message essay that I don't want to read. This fake country has stolen a part of Greek history and Serbian land, the old Japanese flag, as well as the Bulgarian language. Now that's impressive, North Macedonia. Now to figure out who made this meme. There's a lot of options. Actual honorary Balkans, South Italians, all of Portugal, and the Basque region. I can't even get into why. Then there's wannabe Balkans. One of the reasons is because Ireland has potato. That's it, potato. The other wannabe Balkan is Czechia, but unfortunately they have a much higher GDP than Portugal. They can't enter. I like how this has become an exclusive club now that everyone wants to join. There's even US states that like to roleplay as Balkan. German classes used as a weapon in Polish election campaign. Poland's German minority is angered by the government's decision to slash German language classes for its community and feels it's being exploited by the ruling party. Mom, there's a monster under my bed, says Poland. It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. Why do you despise me, brother? Says Germany. Apparently in Poland, they just have really good memories, I guess, and they'll hold a grudge. Who here despises British food? Okay, who here has eaten British food? Okay, a little bit of a difference. Wait, I have. To be honest, it's whatever. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I wasn't like, oh, this is amazing. Kazakh names be like, first name, a Mongolian throat singer. Last name, I think this is a Russian, which would make a lot of geographical sense. I mean, I honestly think I'd be more surprised if they didn't have something like this. I mean, literally, just look at who their neighbors are. It's pretty obvious. Then there's obviously the most favorite Kazakhstani of them all. He also falls under the example. Look, Mom, look! The most northern, eastern, southern, and western points of France. They're everywhere. And that is because they are. They are everywhere. This is why it's really important to show the real maps of countries, because just this stuff in Europe is not everything. As a Pakistani, how can I create the No-No German party so that I can win a national election, turn Pakistan into a powerhouse like the No-No Germans did to Germany? Also, I want to invade India and form Greater Pakistan. Once again, the most normal core poster, and I'm honestly the least bit surprised this is coming out of India and Pakistan. That rivalry runs hot. I despise you with every fiber of my being, says Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Romania. Aw, you're sweet, responds Turkey. I love you, says Pakistan. Hello, human resources? It just doesn't make sense at all. Life isn't fair. Imagine if European borders were carved up by treaties of imperial powers instead of developing along natural ethno-regional borders. It would probably look something like this. Haha, can you imagine? No way, my dude. This is way too unbelievable. Talk about top 10 most inaccurate alternative history maps. Monarchies in Europe, we have 1914. All the yellow are monarchies, blue are republics. Meanwhile, 2023, there's still a couple monarchies rocking around, aren't there? There's Spain, literally all of the lowlands, a couple of smaller city-states, as well as all of Scandinavia. They just won't let it go. Imagine not living in a Chad monarchy. Ooh, look at this Venn diagram. There's Greece and Portugal, who are just good at food. Norway and Sweden, which have good-looking women. Then Germany and the UK, who are good at war. There's Italy with good-looking women and good food. Japan with good food and good at war. Finally, Finland, good at war and good-looking women. But there's only one that has all three. Oh my goodness, France. There's also only one that has, none of those. Maybe they were meant to be put in one of the circles. They just forgot to drag the flag over or something. I don't know. There's France with pride. Switzerland with greed. The Netherlands with lust. Wait, why lust for the Netherlands? The UK with gluttony. Ireland with envy. Germany with wrath. And finally, okay, all right, here we go again. The 7 deadly countries of Europe with all the sins. Not a sin, but I guess that works. Wait, is it a sin? I don't even know. Oh, it is a sin. It's just not part of the 7 deadly, I see. This shirt with a pretty epic mistake. You had one job. Come on. Please do not tell me this was found somewhere in Scandinavia. How many times do we have to say Scandinavia is just Sweden, Norway, and Denmark? Finland does not count. I guess it gets complicated though, because if you want to say United Colors of the Nordic, you can't just use these 4 flags, because there are more countries in the Nordic countries. It gets complicated. Oh wow, it was found in Stockholm. How dare they? Por favor, Dinamarca, please. Hola, senor. Where am I? You're in Barcelona. Really? I'm in Europe? Not exactly. You're in Barcelona, the municipality of Simon Bolivar, or Venezuela. Oh no. That's why you have to choose your words very carefully. I had no idea that was the Spanish word for Denmark. It sounded like it, but I wasn't sure. Here we have Latin American countries which are fighting about whatever thing. Meanwhile, there's beautiful Brazil, who doesn't speak Spanish. They're just peaceful, having a good old time by themselves. This is literally how I imagine Latin America all the time. There's just this big, chunky boy that only speaks Portuguese. Meanwhile, this Spanish side has all this chaos going on. Not to say Brazil doesn't have its own chaos going on. It's just going on internally. Did you know South Carolina consists consistently ranks in the top 50 states across every metric. Wow, South Carolina, that's impressive. They are quite literally always in the top 50 states in all the metrics. That is, unless of course Washington DC becomes a state, then they'll probably rank around 51st every time. No, I'm just kidding. That's probably Mississippi. Why would they put this on a bus in Virginia? Don't stop for pedestrians. If they jaywalk, let them learn a lesson. I feel like it's made 10 times worse because it's on a bus. Like getting hit by a small Hyundai, you're gonna be okay. But by a bus? I mean, you guys are trying to teach them a lesson for eternity. Big thanks to my patrons. Destiny, 9,000. Drew needs to pay his taxes. Why am I doing this? JohnDenver,
I'm the kidnapper.
Jack
Traven's
Traven's annoying
paid his
friends.
ransom. This channel's not run by
InquisitorXarius.
Caleb,
Australia is real. I am not a paid actor.
LuxembourgLover,
5610.
Patrick
RyeThePie.
Subscribe to
The Mexican
Durnil,
716.
Twickenhamster.
Become a patron by checking the description down below.